Yesterday morning, Israel unfortunately started the day with a terrible sound. Communities in northern Israel came under new rocket attacks. This attack made Israel very angry, because an anti-tank guided missile fired by Hezbollah wounded 4 Israelis. Israel, which had planned a crushing operation in a short time, made its enemies regret this attack. Israeli forces were very serious in their retaliatory strikes against Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Israel's crushing strikes destroyed nearly 100 militants in southern Lebanon. The dead include at least 74 Hezbollah members, 8 Palestinian terrorists, several civilians, and a journalist. Fighting along the border resulted in the deaths of 3 civilians on the Israeli side and 6 Israel Defense Forces soldiers. During the day, Israel continued its attacks. The Israel Defense Forces announced that about 25 rockets were involved in the barrage fired in the morning, with sirens sounding in the towns of Sasa and Shtula. All of the shells fell in open areas. Hours later, the Israel Defense Forces confirmed that rockets were also fired from Lebanon at Kiryat Shimona and military posts along the border. The Israel Defense Forces also announced that its air defenses intercepted a suspicious air target over Lebanese airspace. In response to the repeated cross-border attacks, the army said it shelled the sources of the rocket fire with artillery and carried out strikes on several Hezbollah sites. The Israel Defense Forces said the targets included military compounds and observation posts belonging to the terror group. The army said it also carried out a drone strike on a terror cell, preparing to carry out an attack. At the same time, the Israeli army reported that it carried out an advanced surface-to-air attack against an Israeli drone in Lebanon that had been firing at the aircraft overnight. The missile was intercepted by Israeli air defense systems. The overnight attack triggered air raid sirens in Safed. The army said that the interventions activated these sirens. Despite all these attempted attacks, no crossings into Israeli territory were detected. According to a Hezbollah statement, its fighters fired surface-to-air missiles at an Israeli Elbit Hermes 450 drone flying over Lebanon. A video released by the terrorist organization showed the projectile hit the Israel Defense Forces drone, but did not bring it down. In an unrelated incident, the Israel Defense Forces said a military drone made an emergency landing in an open area in northern Israel early yesterday morning. Israeli officials said the drone was not hit by enemy fire, and the matter was being investigated. A few hours later, the Lebanese government news agency said an Israeli drone fired 2 missiles at an aluminum factory outside the southern Lebanese market town of Nabatea in the early morning hours, causing fire and widespread damage. The National News Agency reported that firefighters and ambulances rushed to the site but did not mention casualties. Journalists trying to reach the factory were blocked by Hezbollah fighters. The Israeli military did not confirm any attacks on Lebanon overnight. An Israeli strike near the village of Tul, far from the border, would be the first to hit the area since the Second Lebanon War between Israel and Hezbollah in 2006. During a visit to the north yesterday, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant made some remarks. The Israel Defense Forces are working on the Lebanese border to actively strike Hezbollah targets and restore security to the region. We run an active defense police that pays the price for every threat in the air and on the ground. We respond to missiles and rockets fired by Hezbollah, and at the same time we hit the terror group's infrastructure. Our army is ready to respond to any attempt by Hezbollah to expand the war in the north. Our intelligence has an eye on events, and we are ready to meet any challenge. Our goal is to make the residents of the north feel safe, and it will take a little more time, but we will get there. During the war in Gaza, where Israel is trying to topple the ruling terror group, Iranian-backed Hezbollah has organized and monitored daily attacks on Israel's northern border with Lebanon. But these militants are not achieving their goals. Israel, in turn, has tried to respond harshly to these militants, avoiding escalatory actions while maintaining its focus on Gaza. In response, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Hezbollah that it was playing with fire. There are those who think they can expand their attacks against our soldiers and our people. This is playing with fire. Fire will be returned, with much stronger fire. They should not judge us because we have shown only a small part of our strength. We will harm those who harm us. In addition to all this, things have also gotten complicated in Syria. Early yesterday, Israeli airstrikes targeted a Hezbollah weapons depot and other sites near the Syrian capital Damascus. 2 pro-Iranian fighters were killed in the crushing Israeli raids. Israel has reportedly struck targets in Syria several times in recent weeks as regional tensions rise over the Israeli-Hamas war in the Gaza Strip. Syrian media, citing a military source, had earlier reported that the strikes caused material damage. At around 02:25, the Israeli enemy carried out an airstrike from the direction of the occupied Golan Heights, targeting several positions around Damascus. The Syrian military source did not elaborate on the targets, but added that Syrian air defenses intercepted some Israeli missiles. Syria regularly claims to have shot down Israeli missiles, but military analysts are skeptical of such claims. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said 2 foreign militants from pro-Iranian groups were killed. Several others were wounded, it said. The SOHR, run by a single person, is regularly accused by Syrian war analysts of misreporting, inflating death tolls, and fabricating them wholesale. The observatory said the strikes destroyed a weapons depot belonging to the Iranian-backed Lebanese terrorist group Hezbollah, which is fighting alongside the Syrian regime, adding that the shelling occurred on the road to Damascus International Airport. The observatory added that areas near the airport linked to Hezbollah and pro-Iranian militias were also targeted. Israeli strikes last month took Syria's 2 main airports in Damascus and Aleppo out of service several times over the course of 2 weeks, with the Damascus terminal still out of service. On November 8th, Israeli airstrikes hit Hezbollah-held areas near Damascus, killing 3 pro-Iranian fighters, the observatory reported at the time. As we know, Israeli officials prefer not to comment too much on these strikes. Sometimes, even if the strikes are indeed the work of the Israel Defense Forces, Israeli officials admit it afterwards and share the details. This time, however, Israel was quick to comment. Israel has repeatedly stated that it will not allow Iran to expand its footprint there. The Syrian war began in 2011, with the brutal suppression of anti-government protests, and has escalated into a conflict involving foreign powers and global jihadist groups. More than 500,000 people have been killed, and nearly half of Syria's pre-war population has been forced from their homes. Now Syria is putting all its troubles aside and firing sporadically at Israel. Thank you for watching us.